All right, so I think this is recording. Let's take a look here. At this problem, number 8, we've got a rational expression divided by a rational expression. They want us to simplify this and write as a single rational expression in lowest terms, and to also state any restrictions that we have. And for us, with this kind of arithmetic of this division, or multiplication, or addition or subtraction, if you have a rational expression, you want to make sure that your denominator is never 0. You want to avoid division by 0, because division by 0 is undefined. So with division, there's often two places where you have to kind of pause and write your restrictions. First, you want to write your restrictions as soon as you can, and you like to see your denominators to be in factored form. In order to do that, well, when I look at these two fractions, I don't see any variables in the denominator in the first fraction or in the second fraction. So right off the bat, I don't have any restrictions. So let's look at these numerators though, and let's write those in factored form. So in this first fraction, let's take a look at this 16x minus 56. Let's rewrite 16x as 8 times 2x, and let's rewrite 56 as 8 times 7. And 8 is common to both terms. We can factor out that common 8 and write this as 2x, 8 times 2x minus 7. All right, let's look at this other numerator, and let's rewrite these terms to make it obvious that a 4 is common to each term. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 7 is 28. A 4 is common to both terms, and we can write this as 4 times 2x minus 7. So writing this first fraction now with that numerator in factored form, I have 8 times 2x minus 7 divided by 8, and that rational expression is being divided by this numerator factors to 4 times 2x minus 7. And as of right now, I don't have any restrictions because I don't have a variable in my denominator. But that may not be the same all the way through this problem. I may have to change that. One thing I notice right now in my first fraction is that 8 divided by 8 is just 1. And in the second fraction, I notice that 4 divided by 4 is just 1. So I can reduce those fractions right now. So that means, well, let's go ahead and keep this as a fraction. That means that in my numerator, I have 2x minus 7. And in the denominator, I'm just going to write a 1 because 8 divided by 8 is 1. I'm going to change this division symbol to multiplication, and I'm going to take the reciprocal of this fraction. I'm going to flip that fraction. Well, right now I have a 1 in the denominator, so it becomes my numerator, and I have this 2x minus 7 that now goes to my denominator. Well, now I have a variable in the denominator. Originally with this problem I had no restrictions, but when I change this division to multiplication, I have to slow down and go, hey, I have a new denominator now, and it introduced a restriction. If you look at 2x minus 7, and if you want to prevent it from equaling 0, we temporarily let it equal 0. We solve this equation in 2 steps. We add 7, and then we divide by 2. If you want to make sure that this denominator is never equal to 0, you have to make sure that x is never equal to 7/2. That's the only restriction that we have for this problem. Initially, there wasn't any restrictions, but when we flipped that divisor, that introduced a variable to the denominator that wasn't there at the beginning of the problem. Now I can multiply these two fractions together by just multiplying their numerators together. and multiplying their denominators together. Don't forget our restriction. Well, look at this. This is really nice that we have a 2x minus 7 divided by a 2x minus 7. And so that reduces to just 1, provided that x is never equal to 7/2. So I don't think there's many of us that would have looked at this original problem and said, oh, that's obvious, that's just the number 1. You're like, wait a minute, how'd you get 1 out of that? Well, if you break it down into steps and show all your work and think about it all the way through, you'll find out that it is true that it equals 1, of course, provided that x is never equal to 7/2. All right, so that's our final answer. I hope that helped. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.